Dear students, this is the second part of our topic water microbiology. In the first part, we have discussed the introduction to the water microbiology, sources of microorganisms in the water bodies, fecal pollution of water, and indicators of fecal pollution. In this part, we are going to discuss the routine bacteriological analysis of water. The methods for the routine bacteriological analysis of water have been prescribed by the different agencies and they are used in different laboratories of health department. The collection of water sample for its analysis is an important factor and certain precautions are required to be taken while collecting it for the purpose of analysis. So which precautions are required to be taken? The first one is the sample must be collected in a sterile bottle. The sample must be a representative of the supply from which it is taken. The contamination of water sample must be avoided during and after the sampling process. The sample should be tested as promptly as possible after its collection. And if there is delay in the examination, the sample should be stored at a temperature between 0 to 10 degrees centigrade. The routine bacteriological analysis of water includes standard plate count to determine the number of bacteria in the water sample and tests to reveal the presence of coliform bacteria in the water sample. So first we will discuss the standard plate count method to determine the number of bacteria in the water sample. The SPC is carried out to enumerate the total viable microbial population in the water sample. In this method, usually 1 ml or 0.1 ml of the water sample is plated on the suitable medium and incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. Then the colony count is made and the number of bacteria per ml of the sample is calculated. The water of good quality is expected to give a low count, that is less than 100 organisms per ml. This count is also useful in determining the efficiency of the treatment processes like sedimentation, filtration, and disinfection. A count can be made before and after specific treatment to indicate the extent to which the microbial population has reduced. It is generally expected that properly treated water should yield less than 100 organisms per milliliter. The second step in routine bacteriological analysis of water is tests for coliforms. So already I have told you that coliforms are gram-negative, rod-shaped, motile, non-spore forming bacteria that are aerobic and facultative anaerobic, producing acid and gas from the fermentation of lactose at 37 degrees centigrade within 24 to 48 hours. The most prevalent species of this group are Escherichia coli and Enterobacter aerogens. The presence of coliforms in water is an indication of fecal of the water. If these organisms are present in water, it also indicates the presence of an intestinal pathogens since they also occur in feces. Therefore, in the routine bacteriological analysis of water, testing for indicators of fecal pollution or tests for coliforms are important. Several selective and differential media are used in detecting the coliforms in water. The tests for coliforms can be qualitative or quantitative. Among these, first we will discuss qualitative tests. A series of qualitative tests, namely the presumptive test, confirmed test, and completed test are carried out in a systematic order. So what is presumptive test? In this, a series of lactose broth or lauryl sulfate broth tubes are inoculated with measured amount of sample and incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. After 24 hours, if there is no gas, the tubes are further incubated and examined at the end of 48 hours. The formation of gas in any of the fermentation tube, regardless of the amount of gas, constitutes a positive presumptive test. The absence of gas within that period constitutes a negative presumptive test. This means that the sample does not contain coliform organisms and it is considered as safe for drinking purpose and no further tests are required to be performed. The tubes showing positive presumptive tests are then subjected to the confirmed test. This is because a positive presumptive test does not necessarily mean that coliform organisms are present in the water. Sometimes false presumptive tests may be produced by other organisms capable of fermenting lactose with the production of acid and gas. Also, it is possible that positive presumptive test may be the result of a type of association between the organisms that is known as synergism. The next test in the series of qualitative tests is confirm test. This test is carried out to confirm that the gas production in positive presumptive tube is due to the coliforms. For this, two procedures are normally employed. In one of the method, a loophole of the culture from a positive presumptive tube is transferred to a brilliant green lactose bile broth and it is incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 to 48 hours. The appearance of gas within 48 hours constitutes a positive confirmed test. In this, the dye brilliant green in the medium inhibits gram-positive organisms and thereby eliminates a false presumptive test and the synergistic reaction of gram-positive and gram-negative organisms growing together. In the second method, a loophole of the culture from the positive presumptive tube is sticked on the surface of EMB, that is eosine methylene blue agar or endo-agar, and incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. On these media, three types of colonies may develop, and they are typical colonies which are nucleated with or without metallic sheen, atypical colonies that are opaque, non-nucleated and pink colored. Third one, all other types of the colonies. If the typical colonies of coliforms appear on the plates after 24 hours, the confirmed test may be considered as the positive. So what is this EMB agar or endo-agar? EMB or eosine methylene blue agar is an agar medium which is prepared by the addition of definite quantities of two stains, that is eosine and methylene blue, to a lactose agar base. Among these, eosine is an acidic stain while methylene blue is a basic stain. These two dyes react with each other and form a complex which is taken up by the colonies of organisms producing large quantities of acid from the lactose. This EMB agar differentiates E. coli from Enterobacter erogens. E. coli rapidly ferments lactose and produces acid. Due to this, the pH of medium drops to 5. And when pH drops, E. coli produces purplish black centered colonies with greenish metallic sheen by absorbing eosine methylene blue dye complex. The metallic sheen imparted to typical colonies is due to the precipitation of liberated dyes. Enterobacter erogens ferment lactose slowly and produces less acid. At this condition, eosine methylene blue dye complex is pink and therefore it forms pink colored colonies without the metallic sheen. However, the non-lactose fermenting organisms do not produce colored colonies because the stain compound is not taken up by them. Another medium that is used for the confirmed test is an endo-agar. This medium is prepared by adding basic fuchsin, which is previously decolorized with the sodium sulfite, to a melted lactose agar base. This medium acts as a trapping medium for the acetaldehyde, which is an intermediate compound in the lactose fermentation. This acetaldehyde reacts with the sulfite to form a compound, and this releases the basic fuchsin from the combination to give the agar a deep red color. The metallic sheen imparted to the typical colonies is due to the precipitation of liberated stain. However, the restored stain is chemically different from the original compound, being more purple in color. Even if both of these media show only atypical colonies, the confirmed test cannot be considered as negative because some coliforms fail to produce typical colonies on these media, or the colonies may develop slowly. Regardless of whether typical or atypical colonies appear, it is necessary to complete the test by carrying out completed test. If no colonies or non-coliform colonies develop within 24 hours, the confirmed test may be considered as negative. So the last step in the test for coliforms is completed test. The purpose of completed test is to determine whether the colonies developing on endo or EMB agar are again capable of fermenting lactose with the formation of acid and gas, and the organisms transferred to agar slant show the morphological characters of members of the coliform group. This test may be performed with the typical or atypical colonies developed on AMB or endo-agar, or with the brilliant green lactose bile broth tubes showing gas in the confirmed test. If BGLB medium is used in the confirmed test, the AMB or endo-agar plate is streaked from the positive confirmed tube. The plate is then incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours and examined for typical colonies of coliforms to consider it as a positive test. However, if AMB or endo-agar is used in the confirmed test, at least one typical colony, or if not, at least two atypical colonies likely to be of coliform group are each transferred to lactose fermentation tube and to a nutrient agar slant. All tubes are then incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 to 48 hours. After incubation, gram staining of the growth culture from the agar slant is performed. The formation of gas in lactose broth tube and the presence of gram-negative non-spore forming rods on the agar slant constitutes a positive completed test for the members of a coliform group. And the absence of gas or failure to show the presence of gram-negative rods constitutes a negative completed test. So you can see here the flow diagram of tests for coliforms. So the first test is presumptive test. This is done by the inoculation of water sample in series of lactose broth tubes or L'Oreal tryptose broth tubes. After inoculation, the tubes are kept for incubation at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 to 48 hours. After incubation, the tubes are observed for the acid and gas production. If there is acid and gas production in the tubes after 24 hours, then the test is considered as positive test. That means presumptive test is positive. And if there is no acid and gas production, then the presumptive test is considered as negative and no further testing is carried out. If the presumptive test is positive, in the next step, the confirmed test is carried out. This test is done by the inoculation of a sample from positive presumptive test. This is done by the inoculation of the sample either in brilliant green lactose bile broth tube or streaking the sample on eosin methylene blue agar medium or endo agar medium. After the inoculation of sample in the BGLB tube, the tube is kept for incubation again at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. And after incubation, the tube is observed for acid and gas production. If there is acid and gas production in the BGLB tube, the test is considered as positive. That means confirmed test is positive. And further testing is carried out by completed test. But if there is no acid and gas production in the BGLB tube, then the confirmed test is considered as negative and further testing is not carried out. If in the confirmed test AMB or endo-agar medium is used, then after streaking of sample from positive presumptive test, the plates are incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. After incubation, the plates are observed for the development of typical or atypical colonies. If there is development of typical or atypical colonies, then the confirmed test is considered as positive. And later on, the completed test is carried out. That means the confirmed test is carried out by the inoculation of a sample from positive presumptive test either in the BGLB tube or by sticking the sample on AMB or endo-agar medium. After incubation at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours in the BGLB tube, if there is acid and gas production, then the test is considered as positive, or on the AMB or endo-agar, if there is development of typical or atypical colonies, then also the confirmed test is considered as positive. And when the confirmed test is positive, in the next step, the completed test is carried out. That means the completed test is carried out by taking a sample from positive BZLB tube or a typical or atypical colony from AMB or endo-agar medium. This is done by the inoculation of sample in lactose broth tube as well as on the nutrient agar slant. The nutrient agar slant as well as lactose broth tube is then kept for incubation at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours, and after incubation the lactose broth tube is observed for the acid and gas production, and the growth culture from nutrient agar slant is tested for the presence of gram negative non-sporing rods. If there is occurrence of gram negative non-sporing rods and if there is acid gas production in lactose broth tubes, then the completed test is considered as positive. That means in the sample there is presence of the coliforms. But if there is no presence of gram negative non-sporing rods or there is no production of acid and gas in the lactose broth tubes, then the completed test is considered as negative. So this is about the qualitative test for the coliforms. And this is the second part of our topic, water microbiology. In the next part, we will discuss the tests that are used for the differentiation of fecal and non-fecal coliforms, mainly the IMVIG test and Ejekman's test. So keep on watching the videos. Thank you very much.